Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. So today I am back to do a video that isn't strictly booktube, though it isn't something that is necessarily out of the realm of possibility from my channel. It's definitely on brand for me. You might remember a few vlogmases ago that my friend Ross got me this big poster that was the top 100 books, and I did a video where I went through each of them, and it was a big scratch off poster and I would scratch off any of the books that I had actually read, with the intention that, you know, in a few years time I'd probably come back to it, look at the other classics on that list and see whether or not I'd read any of them. It's probably been about 2 or 3 years since I did that video, and in all honesty my classics reading has really taken a nosedive, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't read any more of those top 100 classics. However, for my birthday this year, my housemate Caitlin got me this. Another scratch off poster, but this time it is 100 musicals, which if you know me at all, you'll know is definitely right up my street, the same way that the book poster was. So I'll just open this up right now. So as you can see, you roll it down and it is 100 of the best stage and screen musicals. I have looked at this before, and definitely there are some here that are musicals that you would only get to see on stage and some which are only available on film. And whether or not these are 100 of the best is, you know, up for debate. But there's a good mix here of classic musicals as well as modern ones, contemporary ones. And so I thought it would be quite fun to go through this list and see how many musicals I have watched. I actually feel like I'm probably going to do a much better job of these musicals than I did of the books. Such a fake book fan. I have my poster, I have my handy little 20p, which hopefully is going to be enough to scratch these off because it did take forever last time I did one of these videos. And let's just start right from the top. So the very first musical is The Wizard of Oz, which of course I've seen this. I actually have so many friends who went to see Wicked having not seen The Wizard of Oz, and I'm just like, what are you doing? I absolutely love The Wizard of Oz film. I'm pretty sure, no, actually I don't think I have seen it on stage, but it's an absolute staple, the Judy Garland film from my childhood. Okay, let's try 50p, see if that's any better. Yeah, that's loads better. Woo! And there we go, we've got the famous four there: the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and Dorothy. Next one is Grease, and once again, yes, of course I have seen Grease. I had such an obsession with Grease when I was in year 6, I want to say. I just really wanted to do a Grease at school. I wanted to play Sandy. Though the idea nowadays of having to like hoist myself into those leather trousers is just a bit too much for me. Aha, and speaking of the leather trousers, there we have Danny and Andy doing You're the One That I Want. Next musical is Oliver Twist, and this is going to be my first quibble with this musical theatre poster, because the famous musical that is about Oliver Twist is not called Oliver Twist. It's Oliver! Exclamation mark. And how do I know that? Because I'm currently in a production of it. So of course I have definitely seen the film from 1968, I want to say. That is really such a fantastic film, and I feel like it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. But yeah, we are about to start rehearsals for doing Oliver the Musical, and I am so excited. I am going to be playing the part of the strawberry seller, so, you know, if you ever hear me randomly singing, "Ripe, strawberries, ripe," that's why. And the one for Oliver is a little pocket watch. The next musical is Mary Poppins, which, because this is stage and screen, I am going to knock off, even though I actually haven't seen the stage adaptation of Mary Poppins, but obviously I have seen the Julie Andrews movie. It is one of my favourite Disney films. Okay, I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do, and it is Mary Poppins' hat. The next musical is Singing in the Rain. Yes, of course! If you haven't seen Singing in the Rain, I urge you to please fix that, because it is such a fantastic film. I feel like it's one of those that people think, oh, I don't need to see that, that's such an old-fashioned film. But it is so incredibly funny. Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Moses, he knows his toes aren't roses, as Moses supposes his toes is Toby! Of course, Umbrella. Next one is Annie, another absolute staple from my childhood. Though for me, the version of the film that I have seen is the 1982 one. I have seen the 99 one. I refused to watch the most recent one because I heard what they did with the songs and I was not about it. But the one that I watched as a kid over and over again is the 1982 one. That is the definitive version of Annie. I will take no further questions at this time, because it's got Carol Burnett, Bernadette Peters and Tim Curry. Like, what is not to love about that? Their version of Easy Street is just fantastic. You're just watching 3 masters at work. And there we go, we got the little red-headed orphan herself. Next musical is The Sound of Music. Ugh, classic. Sound of Music is actually my dad's favourite film, so, you know, it always comes on in that interim between Christmas and New Year. And my dad is really funny because he's always very much like, I'm a man, I like action movies, I like movies that men watch, but then his favourite movie is The Sound of Music. And then every, like, between Boxing Day and New Year, I will always guaranteed hear my dad at the foot of the stairs going, Charlotte, The Sound of Music's on! And it's just such a fantastic film. Though watching it last year was a little bit sad knowing that Christopher Plummer had passed away. And then we have The Mountains. Next up, we've got Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I know that they have done a stage version of this, but I've never seen it. But of course, I grew up on the Gene Wilder film. I remember watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp when that came out into the cinema. But for me, like, when I picture Willy Wonka, I picture Gene Wilder. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. Now actually we've come up against the first one that I haven't seen anything of, which is Bye Bye Birdie. Bye Bye Birdie I've known about since I was single digits years of age, when I remember reading a Mary-Kate and Ashley book where they were actually rehearsing Bye Bye Birdie, and I remember thinking as a kid, oh, I should definitely find out what that's about, and I just never have. Another one, which is a bit of a shock even to myself, is Little Shop of Horrors. I, to this day, still haven't seen any version of Little Shop of Horrors, including the film. I've seen like individual songs, so I know like the Dentist song, I know Suddenly Seymour. And this is shocking to me because I'm such a massive fan of Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, and this was like their big start. This was like their big break musical, but I still haven't seen it. Okay, now we're going down to the second row. Chicago. I have not only seen it live, but obviously I have seen the film many, many times. It's actually one of the cases where I think the film is actually better than the show. Like, I would much rather see the film than watch the show. And to be honest, I think the same about The Sound of Music. Like I would do anything to be in a production of Sound of Music and to play Maria, but like, I'll be honest with you, like whenever I've seen it on stage, I've always been a little bit underwhelmed by it. I just don't think you're beating Julie Andrews, though we dream and we try. And the symbol for Chicago. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes we both, oh yes we both, oh yes we both reach for the gun, the gun, the gun, the gun, oh yes we both reach for the gun, for the gun. Next up is Hairspray. I have obviously seen the film, and I have seen it on stage when it was on tour. I didn't see it when Michael Ball was in the show. And that's another one. I mean, I've only seen the stage show once, and it was years and years ago, but I really love the film. I think it's actually a really fantastic adaptation. Tracy's Bow. Next up is The Phantom of the Opera, and I'm laughing because under all of these they have the director, and for this it has Joel Schumacher, who did the movie. And I am begging you, please, if you have never seen Phantom of the Opera or you've only seen the film, please remedy that, because the film is just so bad. Why would you cast a phantom who can't sing? These are the questions that I have for the casting team. Personally, for myself, I love the 25th anniversary concert at the Royal Albert Hall with Rami Karimloo and Sierra Borges. That to me is like the definitive version of Phantom. I had seen it on tour, but it wasn't until this time last year that I actually saw Phantom in the West End, and I just feel like that's such a musical theatre bucket list item, to see the chandelier going up and then going down and then going back up again. Oh, it was so magical. Then we have The Mask and the Rose. Next up is Moulin Rouge, which I have seen the film by Baz Luhrmann. I've also seen the stage musical. Moulin Rouge, for me, the film, is on kind of the outer skirts for me of like directors doing weird things that I can handle. For me, I like pretty standard films. I don't like anything that is too experimental, and Baz Luhrmann is tricky for me, but I can kind of handle his films. It's when we're getting towards like the Wes Anderson or the Yorgos Lanthimos that I'm kind of like, please just tell me the story, that's all I want. I feel the same about like weird zany directors as I do with like Stream of Consciousness. I'm just like, please no, please just give me the story, that's all I want. So actually seeing the stage show was a lot better for me because I wasn't having to deal with like weird, very choppy cuts all the time. I'm saying that in such a harsh way. Like Baz Luhrmann knows what he's doing. It's not weird choppy cuts, it's like cuts on the beat, but it still is it's a lot for my brain. It's quite overstimulating. But there we have the Moulin Rouge. Next up is Oklahoma, and once again, this is a classic musical that I haven't seen, but hopefully by the time that this video goes up, I actually will have seen Oklahoma. I'm going to be seeing the new production of it in the West End, which is the transfer over from Broadway. So I can't cross this off yet, but hopefully soon. Cats, and once again, I am laughing because it is Tom Hooper as the director. I have not seen the film. I've seen enough of the film to know that I don't want to watch it, and I've not actually seen the show on stage, like in live, but I have seen the pro shot, so I'm thinking that counts. Back in lockdown, they released a bunch of pro shots of different musicals, and I remember thinking, oh, I've never actually seen Cats, and I think I'd quite like to see it on screen before I actually go see it live, because I feel like it's just going to be a weird experience. And I will say, like, I don't think Cats is for me. I do have to give so much credit to the actual performers, because, like, if you have ever thought that being in a show is not hard, then you should watch Cats, because the level of, like, athleticism that you have to do that show 8 times a week is just a marvel. These performers are just so incredibly talented. There we go. Rocky Horror Picture Show. I have not seen that as a stage show, but I have seen the film. Also, during uni, we did a showcase where it was mini musicals. So you did like 3 or 4 songs from a show just to give people like a taster of different shows. And I was Janet in our Rocky Horror Picture Show mini musical, because look at me, of course I was. Like, I had to say, oh, Brad, a lot. There we go. Mamma Mia. Okay, this is one of my controversial opinions, which is, number 1, that I think the movie is better than the show. But number 2, like, I just generally do not like the show. I have seen Mamma Mia both in the West End and on tour, and both times I was so not into it. And I don't know why, because I love ABBA. I love ABBA songs. Whenever ABBA comes on at a wedding, I am there. I am dancing along. Seeing the show, it's one of the first times that I have seen a musical theatre show when I've seen a stage show and I thought, oh, being on stage is actually incredibly limiting compared to a film. Like, in the film, you're actually getting to see Greece. You're getting to get all of these beautiful scenic shots. You're feeling these actors and their enthusiasm and their excitement for what they're doing. Whereas, I don't know, I feel like there's something so manufactured about the stage show and so limiting in, you know, because you can't see like the sea, you can't see these beautiful landscapes. And I suddenly felt very much like I am watching a bunch of actors who are like having to pretend to be really excited and happy. And so when it got to the end where we're all meant to stand up and start singing, I just wasn't feeling it. And that was both when I went on my own and when I went with a bunch of friends. All my friends stood up and I was just like, I'm not feeling it, and I'm not going to pretend that I am. This is doubly controversial because I actually have a not so distant relation who was in the original Mamma Mia cast. I've never met this person, but I've been told that this is true. So hopefully this person, if they ever watch this video, I'm very, very sorry. I'm sure you were fantastic. I just don't really love the musical very much. Love the film. I think the film is very fun. Next up we have Pitch Perfect, another film series that I'm not very into. I have watched it once through and I think it's the gross out humour right at the beginning of the first film. It just so put me off. This is something to know about me. I'm not a very big fan of gross out humour. Anything that is like, haha, somebody's pooing, somebody's vomiting, how funny, I'm just not into. But I have seen the films, so it gets crossed off. And the little image is a cup. And then the last one on this line is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Not only have I seen the show, not only have I watched the film a billion times, but it was also the very first Amdram production that I was ever in. So it has such a special place in my heart. Sweeney Todd is probably, it is in my top 3 musicals, which is why the fact that I can't just go to Broadway to go see Josh Groban, who is my favourite singer, playing Sweeney Todd, one of my favourite musicals, it actually is like a gut punch. Attend the tale of Sweeney Todd. His skin was pale and his eye was odd. He shaved the faces of gentlemen who never thereafter were heard of again. Next up we have The Lion King. Obviously I have seen the film a billion times and we have seen the stage show once. It is actually my sister's favourite film. What on earth is that? Oh, it's meant to be a lion. Okay. Quite an abstract lion. I feel like it picks up better on camera than it looks in real life. Next up we have Les Miserables, which if you put a gun to my head and said, Charlotte, you must tell me what your favourite musical is, like it is pretty much Les Mis. You know by this point how much of a fan I am of Les Mis, the book as well as the show. So yes, I have seen this a bunch of times. I love it so much. My most popular video is me breaking down 8 different versions of Les Mis. So safe to say, I love the show very, very much. And there we go. One that I haven't actually seen is the Muppets movie. I have seen like different iterations of the Muppets and I love the Muppets Christmas Carol, but I've not seen the original Muppet movie, so I can't cross that off. Billy Elliot, I have seen this show and I do believe that there is a pro shot somewhere, which I haven't seen. But no, the show was very good fun. And I actually knew somebody at uni who was a Billy Elliot who was in the West End, but weirdly was not in my musical theatre society. And I thought it was such a shame because like it is so hard to find guys who can sing, but guys can sing and dance are a rarity in university musical theatre. And then we have the bellow shoes with the boxing ring behind. The Greatest Showman. Once again, time for one of my hot takes, which I don't actually know how hot a hot take this is. Fantastic music, love the music. Film terrible, do not like. Number one, I just feel like it's very disjointed, and number two, just the history nerd in me just cannot stand this film. Why are we romanticising P.T. Barnum, one of the worst humans in history? But I'm not gonna lie, anytime the music from Greatest Showman comes up, I am bopping my head. There we go, in all his problematic glory. Yesterday by Danny Boyle. I have seen this. Parents were very keen to see this because my family is from Liverpool and they obviously massive Beatles fans. I've only seen this film the one time, but it was really good fun. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. There we go. How many of these are going to be microphones? Then next up we have A Star is Born. Now the director under this is Bradley Cooper, but I have seen A Star is Born. I've not seen the Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga one. I have seen, however, the Judy Garland one. So I'm saying this counts. Which if you haven't, I really enjoy it. Just for the Judy Garland-ness of it all. Okay, this is taking forever. This is as good as it's gonna get. Then we have Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic. Of course I've seen this. My mum and dad were very into this. I have seen Rocket Man. I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody. There are a bunch of musical biopics that I haven't seen, but Rocket Man is one of the ones I've seen. Taron Egerton is so talented. And of course we've got the Elton John glasses. La La Land, another movie musical that I'm just about. I feel like this is victim to the Tom Hooper school of singing as quietly as possible, and I don't get why. And hilariously, the song that I actually think is the best in the film is the one that is done by John Legend, where he's actually projecting because he's an actual singer. But in the context of the film, that's meant to be the song where Emma Stone's character is like, oh my god, Ryan, you've sold out. But I like little bits of La La Land, but like it's not a favourite film by any means, but there they are. And then we have Enchanted. Oh, I love Enchanted. Wasn't fussed on the sequel, but the original film can't be beat. Like if they ever wanted to put the rights out for like an Enchanted musical, like I'd be all over that. I've been dreaming of a true love's kiss, and a prince I'm hoping comes with this. That's what brings ever after rings. So happy. There she is. Goodness me, this is taking forever. The High School Musical series, of course. Of course! I'm 28 years old, like of course I've seen High School Musical. Anybody who is my age or just generally likes High School Musical as well, what is your favourite song? For me, it is definitely I Don't Dance from High School Musical 2. Like if that comes on, I'm bopping, I'm right there. What team? Wildcats. Bohemian Rhapsody I have not seen. Rent I have seen. And I remember in my third year of uni they actually did a production of this, which I was not in, but my friends were, and oh, it was such a good time. Then we have Dirty Dancing. I have seen the original movie of Dirty Dancing, but I haven't seen the musical, and because the original film is not a musical, I can't cross this off. But Anastasia I have seen. I have seen the movie. The show hasn't been brought over here, which like, what are you doing? Why is this not here? But I adore Anastasia the musical. I adore the movie. I grew up with it. It's a good time for me. One of these days I need to film a cover of me singing something from Anastasia because I love that show so much. Next up we have Footloose. I think I saw the original movie way back when, but I don't remember it. And I don't think the original film was a musical. I've also not seen the show, and I've not seen like the new updated movie musical, so I can't cross that off. Jersey Boys I've not seen. Dreamgirls I have seen. And once again, this is another case where I actually prefer the film to the show. Like Jennifer Hudson singing And I Am Telling You was just so powerful. Though I did get to see it in the West End when Amber Riley was on, and she was obviously the best part of that production. Here we go. Then we have My Fair Lady. So obviously I have seen the film, and also it was my very first production when I came down to Oxford, so I have a lot of time for My Fair Lady. Come on Dover, move your blooming arse. It's also awoken a very deep love for the song On the Street Where You Live. I have often walked down this street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. All that jazz. I have not seen Fiddler on the Roof. Oh, yes. I first came across Fiddler on the Roof in my religious education classes. I presume we were learning about Judaism. And also our re-teacher was also our music teacher. He was head of music. So of course, any opportunity to get a musical on was a good day for him. I also saw the West End revival a couple of years ago, and that was also really, really fantastic. Next off, we have Cinderella. I'm presuming that it's meaning the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella, in which case I have seen the Brandy Whitney Houston Cinderella, and in that case I'm crossing it off. If you haven't seen that version of Cinderella, then you absolutely have to, because between that and Ever After, that is probably my favourite film of Cinderella. Probably my top 5 film versions of Cinderella are the Whitney Houston Brandy one, Ever After, the new live action one I actually really like. It's probably my favourite of the live action Disney remakes. And I also obviously love the 1950 one, as well as A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, because it's Hilary Duff and I loved her as a kid. I'm saying as a kid, I love her now. Gypsy, I haven't seen. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favourite Disney movies, tied with Aladdin. And I also saw it when it came to the West End last year. And I thought it was really, really well done. Obviously, it had to be The Rose. West Side Story, of course, I have seen. I have seen both films, and I have seen it on tour. So we are crossing you off. Kinky Boots, I haven't seen. Purple Rain, I have not seen. Fame, I remember seeing like the 2009 like remake of the film, but I don't think that counts as a musical. And I've also not seen it on stage, so I'm not gonna go with that one. Into the Woods. Into the Woods. I have seen the pro shot. Yes, I have. I'm pretty sure I've seen the pro shot, and I have seen bits of the film. So this is a tenuous one, but I'm gonna count it. I also played Cinderella when we did the opening for a showcase. So that was good fun. And I would be very up for playing Cinderella again. Next up is 8 Women, which I have not seen. I've not even heard of that one. Oh, fake musical theatre fan. Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. I have seen probably about half an hour of that film, but not any more of it. So I'm not going to say that that counts. But Prince of Egypt, yes, I have. We recently, for our showcase, did a 13-minute medley of the Prince of Egypt, and oh my god, I have never been so thrilled about a piece of music that I have had to sing. Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I have seen the film, I've not seen it on stage. It is such a meh film for me. I think it is so geared towards children rather than a family that I'm a bit like, ah. But then also, The Childcatcher, absolutely terrifying. I know I'm not saying anything groundbreaking there, but it gave me nightmares. But also, if we ever did it in Amdram, because there are rights for the Amdram production, you better believe I'd be going up for Truly Scrumptious. There we go. Then Bugsy Malone. I have not seen any version of Bugsy Malone. Aladdin, yes. Obviously, I have seen the film. I'm pretty sure it's on in the West End, or it was recently, but I've never seen it. But it is one of my favourite Disney films, alongside Beauty and the Beast. Don't even talk to me about the live action, because it was a mess, aside from Will Smith, who I actually thought was very good as the genie. But like everything else about that film I thought was a mess. There we go, obviously The Lamp. Funny Face, sorry, I got confused for a second and thought it was Funny Girl, but no, Funny Face with Audrey Hepburn. Yes, I have seen that film, because I love me some Audrey Hepburn. Could not sing you a single song from it now, because I've only seen it the one time. But no, I have seen the film, so it counts. Frozen. Obviously, I have seen the film, though it's probably one of the Disney films I've watched the least. And I have seen the show, and I will say, it's like one of the worst viewing experiences. Like, I expect going to a Disney show that kids are going to be loud. Like, you know, it's probably their first time in a theatre. I am ready for kids to be shouting and screaming. What I am not prepared for is for parents to be misbehaving more than the kids are. And even though they put announcements at the beginning of the show not to record, like, like 3 different instances of families around me getting into trouble because of filming or taking photos. Like, I actually remember, like, the opening chords for Let It Go started, and I just, like, right in front of me, see somebody lifting their phone to start filming, and I'm just like, did you not hear the announcement? Did you not see the ushers telling everybody off? Don't film in a theatre, for goodness sakes. There we go. Guys and Dolls, I have not seen, and I don't know if I'm going to be seeing the current production that's on in the West End, but I hear nothing but good things. A Chorus Line, oh, no, I haven't seen it. I can't say that I have, because even though they did do a production of it in my last year of uni, but I went home, I think, when that show was on. Once I have seen, I just saw this year the concert version, so I'm going to say that counts, because I don't know when else I'm going to get to see once. But no, they had a concert on at the Palladium, I want to say. Yes, it was the Palladium, with Carrie Hope Fletcher and Jamie Moscato. There we go, the guitar, and then going down to the next level, Meet Me in St. Louis! I had such a thing for Meet Me in St. Louis. I haven't watched it in many, many years, but I love that film. I also, when I was in my 3rd year of uni, was co-directing the trolley song for our showcase, and then a bunch of people got sick, including like 2 of our soloists, so because I knew the song very well, I just slotted myself into one of those solos. Then we have Covergirl, which I've not even heard of, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, not even heard of, In the Heights. I haven't seen the stage show, but I did see the film when it came out and loved it. I've only actually seen it the one time the whole way through, but it was such a fantastic film, and it makes me feel very confident in the director because he's doing the Wicked movie. Because my main issue with a lot of the Disney live action remakes is that I feel like the directors have just not been comfortable with the idea of doing a musical, and I think, what's the point in directing a movie musical if you are not comfortable with that medium? Just don't do it. But I trust Jong Chu. I think he's going to do a great job with Wicked. Dear Evan Hansen is a show. I have listened to it. There are a couple songs in it that I really like, but I have had no interest in seeing it. And I also haven't seen the movie, having seen the production stills of Ben Platt just looking like a 40-year-old in a school. Kiss Me Kate. I have seen the film of this. I saw it for the first time a couple of years ago, a couple of Christmases ago. But I hear that the film is quite different to the show, so I'd be interested in seeing it. I've said before, I have a weird fascination with Taming of the Shrew, so anything that is kind of adapting it, I'm desperate to see. There we go. The King and I. Once again, I've seen the film many a time, but I have not seen the stage show, even though it's constantly on. So many songs I love from The King and I. Bunch of books. Then we have Sunshine on Leith, which I haven't seen, but though my University Musical Theatre Society are doing it for their next show. So if anyone's in York in February, go see that. French Can-Can, not seen. Sing Street, not seen, even though is that the animated film, Sing Street? I don't remember. Cabaret. I have the DVD of Cabaret, and I've still not seen it. The Beatles: A Hard Day's Night for a family of Beatles fans. I've never seen that. Jesus Christ Superstar, I have seen. I haven't seen Jesus Christ Superstar in such a long time, but I've recently just gotten really hooked on Gethsemane and Heaven on Their Minds. I think those are just 2 fantastic songs, which makes me very sad that I can't sing them. There we go. Showboat, I haven't seen. Walking on Sunshine, I haven't seen. Corpse Bride, I have seen. That is such a weird film to have on this list. Like, of all the musicals in all the land, like Corpse Bride, really? But I do like Corpse Bride. Go. Then An American in Paris. Yes, I have seen the show. I saw the show back when it was on in London a few years ago. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not very fussed on dancey shows because for the very narcissistic reason of I can't dance and therefore I watch other people dancing and I'm like, what? But yeah, the dancing in this was incredible. Storyline, not particularly memorable for me, but I loved their version of I Got Rhythm. I know it's very different to the Gene Kelly film. I've seen like that clip of the film, but it was good fun. Like I'd probably see it again. Deliverly, I've not seen. Newsies, I still haven't seen, even though it was on in the West End like 6 months ago, and obviously like I have Disney Plus. I could see Newsies if I wanted to, and I just haven't. But Moana I have seen. Guys, we are on to the last 2 rows. We are almost there. Homeward stretch. This video is going to be over an hour long, I can tell. The last 5 years. Okay, so no, I have seen the film and I've seen a uni production of the last 5 years. I've not seen a professional one, but I'm saying this counts. Last 5 years is such a good show, but we'll never get to do it in Amdram because it's a 2-person show. And if you've got a society that has like 100 people in it and you do a show that is only for 2 people, people are gonna be mad. There we go. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I have not seen. Summer Holiday. Not seen. The Blues Brothers. No, I feel like I must have seen a couple of scenes from it, but I've not seen it the whole way through. Blinded by the Light. Not seen. 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I have seen the sobbing scene. When I was in my classical civilization class in A-level, and my teacher wanted to show us that scene because we were learning about the Sabine women. Funny Girl, I have seen the film, I have never seen the show, but I have been following all of the drama of the Broadway production avidly. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a clown to rain on my parade. Can someone explain a thing to me? Because it's been a while since I watched Funny Girl. And granted, I may be wrong, but why are there roller skates? Is it part of Fanny Bryce's act that she uses roller skates? Granted, I have seen the film once, like 10 years ago. So I'm definitely maybe misremembering something, but I wouldn't think of rollerblades when I'm thinking of Funny Girl. What am I missing? Please, somebody who is better informed than me, tell me what I'm missing. Respect, I have not seen. It's Saturday Night Fever, I've not seen. 42nd Street, I've not seen, even though it's always on. Annie Get Your Gun, not seen. On the Town, not seen. Everybody's talking about Jamie, I have seen. And have any of you seen the film adaptation? Because that was really good. It was such a good film. Also, me and my mum were meant to see the tour, but we booked tickets in 2020. So we've still not seen it live, but I have seen the pro shot and I have seen the film. And we actually did one of my showcases, our mini musical was Everybody's Talking About Jamie. So I have sung some of the songs from Jamie. There we go, all of his sass. Fantasia. I am such a fake Disney fan. I own Fantasia and I've still not seen it. Flower Drum Song, not seen it. South Pacific, I have seen half of that film because we were doing some Enchanted Evening for choir and I didn't finish it. This was over 10 years ago. Oops. Sing, not seen. Evita. That was our last big show. And actually, it was a great production. Not to toot my own horn, but we did a really good job. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. Carousel, I have seen. And one of my favourite songs to sing is If I Loved You, which hilariously was included. They did a pop cover for that in red, white and royal blue. And as soon as me and my mum heard the first lines of it, we were like, ah! You know that Leonardo DiCaprio gif where he's like, ah! That was us. If I loved you time and again, I would try to say all I'd want you to know. And guys, I'm really sad. We're actually finishing this off on a low note because the last one is High Society, which I haven't seen. But to say all that, look at that. I think that's not too bad a job. So out of 100, I have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 55! That is so much better than the books one. And to say, they had some odd choices in here, let's be honest. Hamilton wasn't even on. Hamilton wasn't on here. What? And like thinking of some of my favourite musicals that weren't on here. So like 6 wasn't on here. I would have thought, like, could we not replace Corpse Bride for 6 or Hamilton? Like, really? But there we go. I'm really pleased with that. Do let me know what your number was for the top 100 musicals as per this poster. And let me know of any musicals that weren't on this list that absolutely should be. And I will let you know if I've seen it down in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.